Hello and welcome to the RetroSlot podcast, episode 75. This one, we got a lot of news. We got talk about the new Analogue Duo. We got some new video games. Well, some old video games to talk about. And we'll be talking about Pocky and Rocky for the Super Nintendo Entertainment System, or the SNES, as some call it.
Schnesh.
The SNES.
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 SNES. They call it overseas. They call it the SNES.
I like that. I like the SNES.
I don't.
SNES. I mean, do they call it the SNES with a Z or SNES?
I think SNES is what I've heard, but I
Yeah.
presume that maybe they call it both. I always
Nobody.
said SNES.
I always heard SNES or Super Nintendo. Like,
Mm-hmm.
never heard SNES until I grew up. But once I grew up, I'm like, oh, I can appreciate how you've shortened that and made it like its own little word, SNES. So now I
Did you
like it.
say
I use it.
NES? Or we just said Nintendo, right? NES.
Never said NES. No.
Yeah.
NES. I heard NES. Said Nintendo. But we were too happy with it to shorten the name. We treated that name with respect when I was a kid.
Put the respect on it. Yeah.
Yeah. A capital N Nintendo to you.
Mm-hmm.
We got a lot to talk about, Jay. Jay, you got a topic, I noticed.
Yeah, I put a topic in there. So we talked a couple of weeks ago, or the last episode, about the Earthbound USA documentary.
Yeah.
And I had a chance to watch it over the weekend. I rented it.
What'd you rent it on?
Just it's a proprietary service rental. Like you have to
okay,
do
that's
it
right.
Earthbound Gamer. So $7, supporting the cause. I didn't hate it, but it was less a story about Earthbound and more a story about Starman.net.
Oh, really?
It
Okay.
was like 70 to 80%. Like, I don't know. It almost felt like they were the ones who created this, is how it felt.
Like they were the ones
Which,
who created the video game?
no, the documentary.
Oh, okay. So what's
Because
Starman.net?
Starman.net was basically the fan site of Earthbound. And it was created in the kind of the infancy of the internet, and it brought back a lot of memories to me because I made N64 and video game websites when I was a kid, and there wasn't a whole lot of stuff out there yet, like gray backgrounds and
Yeah.
animated GIFs and all sorts of crazy stuff, right? There wasn't really a whole lot happening in AOL Instant Messenger and GeoCities, Lycos, all that stuff, right? And so all these people that liked Earthbound, and it kind of briefly goes over the story about how Earthbound flopped, essentially, right? And they
Yeah.
speculated as to why and all this, that, and the other, but there was still a fan base around it. And so the documentary kind of, more than anything, covers the fan base and how they found each other, which was through Starman.net. There was one guy who started it, and then another guy came in quite quickly. So it was kind of two main guys who ran it in the beginning, and then it was like a forum, message board, like a news site, stories, fan art, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And eventually they started doing like meetups, like they called them conventions, right? But there was like a convention in somebody's house, so it was like a very low key thing. But it was the movie, like 70 or 80% of it, I'd say, was covering the community and their passion for the game,
Okay.
and talking about like Mother 2, Mother 3, that kind of stuff, and the story that goes through that. They apparently, Starman.net, when Earthbound 64 was like getting canceled and all this, they had been waiting for a couple of years for it to come out and it never did. And they were super disappointed, and they like created a I'm kind of spoiling the whole documentary, but they created a a petition. It had like 30 some odd thousand signatures and all this stuff on it. But they just didn't, this is history, right? So Nintendo didn't really, like, they didn't respond or anything
They
like
didn't
that. So
respond to their fans
no.
about wanting a beloved franchise to come back. How surprising for
Yeah.
Nintendo.
Yeah.
How
So
out of the ordinary.
it follows, like, if you end up watching it, it follows what happens like after that kind of stuff, and then Mother 3 and the fan
Yeah.
translation and all that kind of stuff that came out. So yeah, it very much covered the Starmen.net more than anything, which is not necessarily a bad thing. I think it was a big part of especially the US side of things for Earthbound.
Yeah.
Um, but it didn't like there wasn't like developer interviews or anything like that. Like it wasn't really deep dive into Earthbound, which is kind of what I was expecting. And they did talk to briefly at the very end. There was an interview with the main creator of Earthbound and kind of talked about, but they were like talking about the website. You know what I mean? Like it all kind of came back to starmen.net. So it very
Yeah.
much felt like those people, the ones that started the site, were the ones who did the documentary. I don't know if that's accurate or not, but that's how it felt.
Yeah, that's a
Because it was like,
weird thing to have a documentary about, honestly.
yeah. I mean, they had a bunch of video footage of the conventions and the people from, 20 years ago and stuff like that. So it wasn't bad. It just wasn't quite what I was expecting, I guess.
Yeah. I
Worth a
thought I
watch.
thought it was gonna be about Earthbound.
If you wanna learn about the fan base of Earthbound and their influence and stuff, it's definitely something you should watch.
Sorry, I'm messing with the volume, trying to make sure that we're hitting the same levels. Always let me
Sure.
know, by the way.
Ahem.
On
Briar said he wants me to yell for the rest of the show, so that's
always
"Hey,
let me know
everybody!"
on
Yeah.
Twitter or whatever, because I can usually fix it if it's not right. Well,
Did you
that's
have
a little
any
disappointing. I do like a good gaming documentary, but I don't know that I want watch a gaming documentary about a website that covered a video game.
Mhm.
That'd be like watching like a documentary about the founding of like our Destiny, you know,
Yeah.
or Destiny the
Yeah.
game.
Yeah. They did like, the one developer guy that they interviewed he was the translator, the one who did the translation from Japanese to English, and,
Okay,
like,
that's interesting.
it was a brief interview. It was probably 3 or 4 minutes where they kinda talked to him. Uh, he answered some questions or whatever, responded to some things, but that was about it as far as actual developer interviews. Excuse me, stuff. I got the hiccups, man. I was, like, scarfing
Jay's
down
been
food right
drinking.
before the episode. Yeah, I drank you wanna know what I've been drinking? Grapefruit Izzy.
Ooh, I
It's
don't
like
think I've ever had
carbonate
that.
carbonated fruit juice. It's like soda, but less bad for you. Um, did you have any discussion topics or random things you wanna
No, not really. I've been kind of thinking a lot about how. Have you heard about how Discovery is removing content from the
from
PlayStation Network?
Disney? Well, and from Disney too, right?
I don't know about Disney, but definitely PlayStation Network. So if you bought any of the specific content on your PlayStation, you will no longer be able to watch it on your PlayStation, even though
Yeah.
you paid for it.
That's
You bought it.
I hate that so much. Like, it goes back to the Wii U and the Wii virtual consoles and all that kinda stuff.
It's different though, right? Because with the Wii and the Wii U, you'd still be able to play that content,
True.
right? If you
If
haven't
you had
downloaded,
yeah,
or you could even still download it, I believe, if you have a Wii U, a Wii still hooked up to the internet and you have stuff purchased, I think you could still re-download it at
download
this
it,
point.
yeah. Yeah,
I'm sure
that's a good point.
that will leave too, though. I mean, I'm sure they'll shut those servers down eventually. But with this is you just can't watch it anymore. Like it's just not going to be available for you to watch anymore, which is I feel like
Should be criminal.
well, I wouldn't be surprised to see some lawsuits about it, honestly. Like I feel like there's a trust, there's intrinsic trust between people who purchase things on digital platforms and the holders of those digital platforms, and this betrays that trust. And I don't
Right,
think it's an earned trust. I think it's just there. You know what I mean?
right.
Like, how many people have Steam libraries that are like hundreds of games large? You know, like what if Steam
Yeah,
just decides to go belly up, or like who knows what's going to happen? Like everything looks like it's roses now, but who knows what's going to happen in 5 years, 10 years, right? Like what if PlayStation goes belly up, right? What if Microsoft buys PlayStation, they just decide to shut down PSN, and all those video games you bought on your PlayStation, you can't play anymore. They're just not there anymore.
yeah.
Like what
It doesn't
happens with
feel
that?
good. Does not feel good.
No.
Um, if anything, it might change some of the laws around, licensing and stuff for users,
Yeah.
maybe. I mean, 'cause it's also going away from Disney, but Disney's less of a thing because you're streaming it, right? You don't own that stuff. Things come on and off all the time. You're just
Yeah,
paying
that
for a
makes
subscription.
that doesn't make me so upset. It's like if they took a game off of the Nintendo online service. I'm like,
Right.
well, I didn't
It's a
buy that
different
game. I'm
thing.
just paying a monthly fee so I can have access to those games,
Right.
which I think is genius.
Yeah.
Like,
This gives them more freedom to just, like, remove and add stuff all the time
yeah, but if
based
I
on life
buy a
changes.
game, like I want to be able to. I mean, it's no secret that I like physical copies of things,
Right.
and if I don't like a game or I feel like I'm never going to play it again, I'll sell it, and somebody else
Yeah.
can play that game, and I make a little bit of my money back, and I go buy another new game with that money.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's how it should be. 100%.
Yeah, I mean,
If
with
anything,
digital media though, it's you don't really own it. You're just paying for a license to watch it or to play it. And now they could just take that license right away from you.
yeah, this would open the floodgates if this goes through and there's no pushback. Like, you're giving permission to all the other license owners to just fuck people over. You know what
I
I
do
mean? Like, if there's,
suspect that there will be some lawsuits about this.
I would think so.
You know, do you remember, this was many years ago now, but at some point somebody sued Apple because, like, I might have like the specifics a little bit wrong, but basically like a father had a huge iTunes library, right?
Mhm.
And he died, and the son wanted that library, and Apple's like, well, you know, you don't have a password for that library. It doesn't belong to you. Sod off. So he sued. And now you are able to, like, basically, like, inherit your father's digital goods.
Right.
So, like, there is value to that in the eyes of the law already. I don't know. It's interesting.
It'll be interesting to follow that. Keep us
Yeah,
updated for sure.
it will be.
Lots of news this week because there was
Yeah, I'm
the
excited.
Game Awards and stuff. They teased some
Oh,
things there, and
oh my God. That Game Awards announcement, man. You know the one I'm talking about.
I don't.
Holy smokes. The Sega stuff. We're going to talk
Oh,
about it
the
later
one
in
at
the
the end.
news.
Yeah,
Oh
I
my
did add it to
God.
the list.
It
Yep.
was, I mean, it made my Game Awards, really.
Was it when did they announce that? I didn't
During
watch
like,
it. So.
I don't remember like at what point we did like a watch along party on the DCP
Right.
YouTube channel, and it was like 3 hours. So like there was points where I was spacing out a little bit, where they were showing like some like,
Yeah. This is long. I
yeah,
couldn't make it. Just yeah.
but when that Sega thing showed up, like you heard like the Sonic rings dinging. Can we
Oh
just talk
yeah.
about that story now since we're already bringing it up?
Oh sure. First story then. We'll flop them. We'll switch them.
But yeah, Sega during the Game Awards, they announced 5, like, what would you call these? Reimagining of classic franchises. There was Jet Set.
Remaster. Yeah.
Yeah, there's Jet Set
A
Radio,
remake.
Golden Axe, Streets of Rage, Shinobi, and am I missing one? What did I miss?
Crazy Taxi.
Crazy
Jet Set
Taxi.
Radio. Jet Set Radio. Yeah.
Yeah, I said Jet Set Radio. So, go ahead.
It says and more on the
And
announcement
more.
as well.
Right?
So
Now, Sega has talked about this in the past. This isn't the first that we've heard about this happening. In fact, they've talked about Crazy Taxi and Jet Set Radio before. I even think I've seen screenshots of the new Jet Set Radio before. But what was crazy about this was it was not like a trailer for a game. It was all of these games and more, right? Like putting and more. This one hit me hard because these were some of my favorite games growing up.
Yeah.
And like to see these franchises come back, and some of them looked damn good. That Shinobi trailer hit me right where I feel it. Like that Shinobi trailer looked amazing. Now, granted, that game looks a little bit more like Ninja Gaiden than Shinobi to me.
yeah, it was almost like a what they did with Metroid Dread, right? Like it was like pushed out in that 2D. Like the sprite was very small.
Yeah,
Is what it looked like.
Like when I look at that trailer, if you didn't say this was a Shinobi game, I would have said this looks like any generic Ninja Gaiden thing. But since the character is white, like he is wearing a white suit, that makes him Shinobi. You know what I mean? Like, but
Gotcha.
that being said, the game looked beautiful. It looked like it plays really fun. You know, obviously without getting hands on, who knows how it's going to actually be, but I mean, it really got me excited. Streets of Rage looked. I did like a 20-minute video on this on my YouTube channel. I broke it down frame by frame,
Spoiler. Yeah.
and was looking at like everything. So the Streets of Rage game, it looks super early. Like they're showing, it looked like they were just showing this like one little piece of a level. It looked 3D. It did not look as good as Streets of Rage 4 at this point, but it's again very early. So like I don't know what that's gonna be. I'm excited somebody's working on a Streets of Rage. Golden Axe looked a little weird because it was hard to tell exactly what they're
It's like
doing
behind
there.
the player, right? It looked
At
almost
some
like third
points, it
person.
looked almost like a 3D action game, right? And then Crazy Taxi looked as crazy as possible. It looks like you're going to be able to play as a cop and chase crazy taxis or get chased by cops.
Oh,
Kind of Need for
nice.
Speed, Most Wanted style. Like the whole
Hot
thing.
Pursuit, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. The whole thing just looked, it was exciting to see Sega has a renewed interest in their older franchises. They make a lot of money from the Persona series. They make a lot of money from the Yakuza series. And they keep going back to the Sonic well, but they've got so many other like classic games in their back catalog that they just rarely ever do anything with. So I'm really excited to see this.
Is it weird? Sorry, I was just gonna say, is it weird to say I'm most excited for Jet Set Radio? Like,
No,
that
I
game
think
looks
that
great.
game is amazing. Yeah, like no, I think you could be the most excited about any one of these 5 games, honestly. Like they're all good. The Crazy Taxi had me really excited. Like
It looked very arcadey to me, but I think if they do like progression well with a game like that to keep you coming back and keep you
yeah.
wanting to play, then that's gonna be huge.
Yeah, I mean the original Crazy Taxi games were arcadey. I don't know that like a direct translation of that really like comes out and does well these days, where it's just literally like going around picking fares up and
Right.
trying to beat the timer to get them where they are, because it was very much like trying to like beat that clock and not put another quarter in. But adding, I don't think there's a lot of arcade racers out there anymore. Like it's just not a genre that's very well well represented anymore. So much of it is like Forza and Gran Turismo, where it's got to be like ultimate realism. And it's fun to just go bashing through a city in like a car that you don't care about at like maximum speed. So I don't know. I'm really excited about this. This was without a doubt the news of the week for me. And like I was saying in that video, is like, even if these games aren't great, like I'm glad that Sega is like taking a renewed interest in these franchises, because I want to see them. I want to see new takes on this. I want to see like what you could do with a new Shinobi, what you could do with a new Golden Axe.
I feel like it's kind of a toss-up because some of the stuff that Sega's done recently has been really good and some of it's not been super great. So
yeah, I agree.
So it could be 50-50.
Yeah.
Jet Set Radio, I don't know why that. I know that they had that newer game that came out like a year ago or something.
Yeah,
like 2
it
years ago,
was. It sounded like
Xbox
Jet Set Radio. It was like Bomb Blast Bumblethon or something like that. I can't remember what it was called, but it was like it was obviously supposed to be Jet Set Radio.
Yeah, I know that was pretty popular too. So
yeah,
what do you think the and more is?
I don't know. It could be anything. I mean, think about all the franchises. Like another Afterburner would be amazing. There's that old PlayStation 3 Afterburner that is no longer on the store. You can't buy that anymore. It was delisted at some point, probably because of music or something. But people love that game. I'd love another Outrun game. A new Outrun game would be amazing. I mean, there's just so many. V6 Sonoma just at Daytona. That'd be a great one.
Seems like they're hitting different, like every single one of those games is a different genre type. So it'd be,
I mean,
there's no RPGs there.
Yeah, Phantasy Star, new Phantasy Star, that'd be fun. I mean, they have Phantasy Star Online currently cooking. Like that's a current, pretty well regarded franchise. I mean,
Ridge Racer was a good game too. Yeah,
I think that was Namco though. That wasn't Sega.
Yeah,
they they had their own consoles, so they had to have games to cover like all of the different genres, and they did, and they had some really great ones. Eternal Champions, I'd love to see a new Eternal Champions. Virtua Fighter, I'd love to see.
Altered Beast.
I would blame you, Altered Beast. I'm an Altered Beast fan. You know, like I still love that game. I made you play it during this on the show one time.
I had played it as a kid. I knew
Yeah.
Altered Beast, so
Yeah, it was really exciting. I can't wait to see how these games are going to turn out. I think they're going to come out over the course of years, not months. But it was very exciting. It was a really exciting announcement. I think they played it off well too. And then they had the eyeball with the Sega logo at the end, and then the kid just yells Sega and looks at the camera with that goofy face. I loved it. It was really fun. Oh yeah, Space Harrier is another good one.
it's like looking around. I have a bunch of stuff just sitting here. Yeah. Okay. So are you good on that?
Yeah, I think so.
Keep talking about it. I thought this was fun, and I was immediately sad because they were sold out. So a company I've never heard of these. I'm not a shoe guy, right? It's just not my thing.
Don't wear shoes. Jay famously never wears shoes.
You want to know what I'm currently wearing?
Flip flops if he's going
Slippers.
out somewhere fancy.
Slippers. They're
I'm wearing
Costco
Crocs.
$10 slippers.
And they're like old, beat up Crocs.
Dude, the heel on those have seen better days.
Oh yeah, these are what I call house slippers.
You get like a lion's mane on the back.
Yeah, they're beat up.
Bull Airs, which is, I don't know if it's an actual like Nike company, but they are Nike shoes. Bull Airs created a Game Boy inspired sneaker that looks super dope. It looks kind of like the to me it kind of looks like the Back to the Future high tops that they made, but more colorful. Not quite as high, but similar vibe. Very retro, very Game Boy. Has like almost a pixelated look on that Nike swoosh too.
Yeah, it's very cool. It's really cool. The left sneaker has like a pink Nike swoosh that's this color like the A and B buttons on the Game Boy, but the right Nike swoosh has a pixelated Nike swoosh that looks like it's on the Game Boy screen.
I think it's the inside of the versus the outside of the shoe. Actually, I think they're both the same.
I think the left shoe and the right shoe has two different.
Could be
because it's showing the outside of the shoe in both. Maybe. Anyhow, it looks cool. You're right. It looks cool. Bull Airs must be some kind of fashion brand, right?
Yeah. Well, they make all sorts of different types of shoes and stuff. If you go to their website, they have all these like, what do they call them? Like crossover type stuff, you know?
Yeah.
So they have a bunch of those. They have footwear, they have vinyl toys, they have accessories, clothings, all sorts of stuff.
Very cool. Sold out. Probably will go for thousands of dollars.
I'm sure.
They were $350 before they sold out, so I never would have bought them. 100% never would have bought them.
I would have been tempted, but yeah, it would have been hard. I wouldn't have worn them. They would have just sat in the box probably.
Yeah.
I can't justify wearing $300 shoes. I don't own $300 shoes. I think the most expensive ones I have are like 150 is like dress shoes.
I have a pair of hiking boots that were that much money, but they're, hiking boots.
I think my hiking boots were like 80 maybe.
Yeah.
Anyways, they look cool. Sonic 3 movie trailer has been revealed. I don't know. Like, do you consider this retro? Because my kids, my son, and actually my 3-year-old are super into the Sonic movies.
Yeah.
So
do I consider it retro? I mean, Sonic as a character is retro.
Yeah. For the last like year, my son's like, "When's Sonic 3 gonna come out? When's Sonic 3 gonna come out? When's Sonic 3 gonna come out?"
Yeah.
So they're saying it's supposed to be like Christmas time next year.
Oh, okay.
So,
and they're bringing Shadow.
Yep. And what I heard, they don't know, like it hasn't been confirmed whether or not Jim Carrey is going to return as Robotnik, which is a bummer because Jim Carrey basically said, "Yeah, I think I'm gonna take a break or retire."
Yeah, so, I mean, obviously you've only got him for so many sequels, right?
Yeah.
I'm kind of surprised he came back for number 2. In all honesty,
yeah, it's true.
Like he doesn't act that often anymore.
Is there a chance that Robotnik doesn't even show up in this movie?
It's risky to have him show up because if you bring him back and it's not played by Jim Carrey, like nobody's gonna be able to match his performance.
It's true. Have you seen both of the movies?
I have seen both of the movies.
Yeah.
Do
you enjoy them?
Yeah, I like. They're fine. They're kids movies, but yeah, they're fine.
All right. Anacorn.
Yeah.
They made Genesis / Mega Drive watches for
Did you see
800.
these?
I did. They're cool.
It's real cool.
I'm not spending $800 on a watch, but they're cool.
But they're real cool though, Jay.
Which one would you get? Would you get the Mega Drive one or the Genesis one? The
No,
Mega
the
Drive
Genesis
one looks
one.
clean. The
The
Mega Drive
Genesis
one looks
one,
clean.
definitely. So I would actually not get. So I wouldn't get the Genesis one. I'd get the one that just says 16-bit.
That's the Mega Drive one, yeah.
Well, there's you're right. There's a Mega Drive one,
me.
and there's like a Japanese one, a European one, and then the Genesis one. And I would guess. I think the Japanese one is the red one, right? That has 16-bit.
I think so.
It looks so sick. Like it really does. And I even like the way it displays the time in that like little slit. It's just so sweet.
The back is cool too. You can see the like open face. You see the gears and stuff on the like on the reverse face.
Yeah, that thing is very cool.
It is for sale right now.
Yeah.
Just saying, Anacorn.
Well, my wife got me one of the Apple Watch Ultras last year.
Ooh.
And that was about this price. So maybe if I was a good boy all year, which I wasn't a good boy. I'll throw this on the old Christmas list.
Oh man. Speaking of Apple Watches, we just gave my son we were gonna wait till Christmas, but we decided to make it an early Hanukkah gift because we had it, so why not? And he went absolutely bonkers. So he got an Apple Watch. My son's almost 8, and he's like 7.5. But we have it super locked down and stuff, and it's like the cheap one, the SE2. But he was super excited. I've never heard in my life. What did he say? He said, "Yes, sir." He's like, "Yes, sir. Yes, sir." He's 7 years old. I've never in my life heard him say that ever. But he was super excited.
Those things I think are genius for parents to buy for kids because you can track your kid. Like you always know where your kid is. Plus, like you teach them a little responsibility. You can even you can share calendar items like with your kids, so it pops up like, hey, don't forget, like you got like this going on or that going on. Like I don't know, like I don't know if your kids does sports or anything or like band practice or anything, but you can put all that into the calendar and like reminders and stuff like that. It's really useful.
Yeah, it's got it's like he has a telephone number and he can message his grandparents or whatever to call them. But
and they're cheap. Like they're not. It's like what, $10 extra a month?
Well, yeah, the watch itself is $12.50 a month, and then the plan is like 10, and then insurance is $250. So that's like $25
so you bought
a month
it from
Yeah. I originally had bought it because it was a promotion to get the watch free if you open a new line. I was like, great. And then after it's said and done, it's like, no, it only works that way if you buy it for yourself, not as like a standalone plan. I was like, well, fuck. That's kind of against the point. So we have to pay for the $300 watch or whatever. But when you pay monthly, it's not as bad.
And the great thing about it is you get a lot of the benefits as a parent. You get a lot of the benefits of what the kid would have if you bought him a phone, but without that like major fucking distraction of giving a kid a phone, which is, I think, a bad idea.
Yeah, he's not going to be
a parent who made the mistake
until he's like 13 or something. I think.
I would hold off as long as possible because those things, man.
It'll be good for him. We pretty much walk him everywhere, but he can use the GPS and like load up directions to somebody down the street or something like that, and wouldn't be too terrible. But so it's just the infancy of it right now. But hopefully he makes it last for like 3, 4, 5 years.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah,
can't lose it.
I mean, it's strapped to you.
Yeah, the insurance covers everything but theft or loss. So
yeah. Is that through Apple, the insurance?
Yeah. Anyways, Capcom in the news.
Should have bought him the Mega Drive watch.
He'd
be like the coolest kid rolling up to school and be like, look at this.
We're not even letting him take the Apple Watch to school right now. I don't know if I'd be comfortable letting him take something like that to school. Capcom has confirmed that they're going to be doing more Resident Evil remakes. Which
Surprise!
can we do something else, please?
I mean, they're still making other games, but these
Yeah.
Resident Evil remakes are real good. Have you played them?
I've played 2 of them.
Which ones?
I played 7 to completion, which I fucking hated because it was scary as
That
balls.
wasn't a remake. That was a new game.
Resident Evil 7. Well,
Yeah.
okay. I thought that was a remake. I think.
But
4,
you didn't like that game?
It was scary, man.
It was scary.
I don't love scary games just in general.
Yeah, I don't either. I played that in VR and it was amazing.
I had to play all the way through for charity, so I did.
Really?
And I think it was either 4 or 2.
Okay.
That I played. I think
2
I played
came out
both.
a few years ago. 4 came out this year.
I may not have played 4. It was 2 then. I didn't beat it, and it wasn't as scary, but
no,
less jump scares and stuff.
Yeah, 2 was really good though. The remake of 2 was really good. I think probably the best one. And then they came out with 8 last year, and then 4 remake this year.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they still got plenty they can remake, right? Because as they go, like the new ones are gonna get older, and they start remaking.
Right, it's just a cycle.
I mean, they got to do Code Veronica that came out on the Dreamcast. That's a must do, right?
Dreamcast and GameCube, yeah, right.
Yeah. And I didn't even know it came out on the GameCube. Is that true?
Did it come out on PlayStation 2 as well?
I have no idea. It would have come out on the PlayStation 2, not the PlayStation 1, I think. If it did come out on the PlayStation. I didn't even know it came out on the
PlayStation
GameCube.
2. Veronica X on GameCube, PS2.
But they got to do that one. And then what's left? Do you do 5 and 6, which aren't beloved by fans? But I mean, if you redo them, maybe you could do it better so that people don't hate them so much. Or do you go all the way back to the beginning and you start redoing, like, do you do Resident Evil 0 that came out on the GameCube all those years ago?
Have they remade 1 and 3 yet?
Yeah, yeah. But the Resident Evil 1 remake, I think, came out on the GameCube. So, right. Do you remake it? I don't know.
That's funny.
I love Resident Evil games. I don't know. They keep doing good jobs with them, so.
I wish I liked them.
Just not into them. See, to me, they're not that scary. 7 was scary. 7 was scary. But most of them are kind of like silly, you know? Especially 4.
I tried to play 6 with a buddy of mine on Xbox 360 because it was co-op.
Yeah.
5.
Was it scary with co-op?
My friend, we played it for 5 minutes. He's like, I'm not into it. We turned it off.
That's fair.
Because it's like the over the shoulder, like super slow movement stuff.
Yeah, it was not well liked. I mean, some people really like it, but it was not one of the most popular ones.
Yeah. I'm happy for the people who enjoy it.
Yeah.
More to y'all.
Yeah.
We kind of mentioned this a few episodes ago. They had said that like 1080 snowboarding and stuff was going to be available at some point, which now it is. 1080 snowboarding, Harvest Moon 64, Jet Force Gemini, all available on the Switch expansion pack, which is the more expensive one for those. I loved 1080.
I did too.
Like, I beat it to absolute completion, to trivialness, where I was just like doing everything without even thinking about it.
Have you played it as an adult?
I have not.
Yeah. I used to play it constantly. I even had a buddy who loved it a ton, and he didn't have it. He'd just come over to my house and we'd play it together. But it was like we were competitive with each other about it. You know, I'm not saying we're good, but we're competitive with each other.
Sure.
But I can't play it at all anymore. I boot that thing up. I'm like, terrible. But it was one of the first ones I bought when I bought in modern era N64. When I bought a new to me N64, it's one of the first games I picked up because it's dirt cheap.
Yeah.
But it's got to get back into it. Got to learn those carving techniques.
Yeah. Did you enjoy the snowboarding games? There was a few within that like 5 to 6 year range. There was 1080 snowboarding, then SSX Tricky, then there was Amped and Amped 2, which were both fantastic. Amp 3 not so much.
So Amp 3 was my jam. That was the one I liked the most because that came out on the Xbox 360. And I think that was the one with like the open mountain so you could go anywhere. And it was kind of goofier, right? It's like there's just weird
Yeah, it
shit
was like more
happening all over the mountain.
arcadey. Yeah, Amped
Y-
2 also was kind of open as well, though.
Okay, I don't think I played any of the other Amp. I only played Amp 3, but
Yeah.
SSX to me was like the next level, right? Is like now you're adding tricks into it to get like
Hmm.
speed boosts, and I don't know, it just felt so fast and it felt so good to carve down
Yeah,
the
it was
mountain. I
fun.
really liked SSX, all
Yeah.
of them,
No, Amped 1 and 2 were more of like a realistic experience,
like
and I
1080.
think they both may have had open world
Oh,
kind
really?
of vibes. Yeah,
Interesting.
I really enjoyed those.
Were they on PlayStation 2?
No, just Xbox, original
Xbox.
Xbox.
Okay.
But there hasn't really been, and I know that is one out for PC that's like, can't remember what it's called, Carve or something, starts with an S. There's a game out, but it's not like a big blockbuster game or anything like that, but it's supposed to be kind of more of like an Amped style open world, like more realistic type snowboarding game. But there really hasn't been a whole lot of snowboarding games or skiing games for that matter in the last like 10 years, I feel like.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know why.
The I think the reason is because it costs so much money to make a freaking video game now that you just can't have like niche video games. Like everything you make has to be like shooting for the moon unless you're like an indie,
Sure. Sure. There probably is some decent indie
probably.
snowboarding games
There-
and stuff.
There's this mountain biking game, and I
Mhm.
wish I could remember what it was called, but it's so fun. It's an indie game where you just like it's almost like a puzzle game. You just slowly got to like make your way down like this mountain. It's so fun. I wish I could remember the name of it. It was on Xbox Game Pass, and that's how I
Yeah,
found
I
it.
think it still is. I think is it called Downhill?
Might be that. It was a really fun game. It was real slow though. It wasn't like
Hmm,
bombing your way down.
sure. Ubisoft accidentally released Good and Evil's 20th anniversary before they actually announced it, and then they like took it off immediately.
What does that mean? They released it?
I think it was like available for download.
Oh,
Just all
really?
of a sudden it just like popped up on the marketplace and then they had to delist it. And from what people said, it didn't look great.
No.
Uh but Ubisoft was like, that wasn't it. That wasn't the real game.
That was the final.
So who knows? I just thought it was kind of funny. Like, how does that happen? Like, how many people have to fuck up for that kind of thing to happen? Or is it just one guy who's like, haha, lay me off, I'm gonna screw you over? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I don't know. Honestly, where did it release?
that's a good question. Doesn't Ubisoft have their own like
Yes, they do.
marketplace?
They have their own
Probably,
marketplace.
I would guess there.
Interesting.
Just somebody
I've
hit the
never
wrong
played this
button.
game, and people talk
I
about
haven't
it
either.
so highly that I would check out if they did a remaster. I don't know if the sequel is ever going to come out. Remember they played like a trailer for a sequel like 6 years ago at E3, and then they said they were going to crowdsource like doing the art and stuff for it. Like it was real
Is
weird.
that what this is?
No, this is just a remake, but they said they were going to come out with Good and Evil 2.
Hmm.
And the trailer looked stupid good, but it was clearly like just a cinematic trailer.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. Um. Oh, you had the next few.
Samurai Showdown RPG English translation has been released. So there's this old game for the Neo Geo. I think it got ported over to the Saturn and the PlayStation as well, the PS1. That was, exactly what it says. It's a Samurai Showdown RPG. It never came to anywhere outside of Japan and never got translated. And translating RPGs is a big job, right? It's like, thousands and thousands of words that you got to translate. And you're trying to get like the context, not just like word for word, because
Right.
a lot of jokes and stuff, a lot of like textual stuff doesn't work when you translate them. So you got to like do all that work. But it's been done, and now you can play the Neo Geo CD version of Samurai Showdown RPG. You just like you gotta patch. It's on romhacking.net. If you're into this kind of stuff, you know where to find that stuff. But it was originally released in 1997. The translation project has been going on since 2007.
Sheesh.
Yeah, which is
I mean, it looks great. Like, I love
yeah,
this style.
yeah. In the this Samurai Showdown as like a franchise, so ready for this, right? Because there's so many like weird characters and everything. So Like seeing all these characters like in a RPG, I think is really fun. It's not a super long game, which is bonus points in my book. I think they said it's around like 12 hours long. I can't see where that is now. In this article, it said somewhere how long it was. But you can play as different characters to get like different endings and stuff. So if you really like it, then you can get more play out of it that way. I'm definitely gonna do this. I'm gonna download this, check it out on the Mister, because the Mister can play Neo Geo CD games.
I wonder if can this play on the Pocket?
Yeah, I don't see why not. The Pocket has Neo Geo CD support, right?
I mean, I think that might be pretty solid. Based on the size of these pictures, it might look pretty good on the Pocket.
It might look pretty good on this Pocket. I'm looking right now at a Pocket to see if it's got Neo Geo CD. I know it's got Neo Geo, but I don't know if it can do CD.
Either way, looks cool.
Yeah,
I'll have to check it out for sure.
yeah. Next story. This one was really fun. Dodonpachi DOJ. People call it DOJ because I can't say that word.
DAIOUJOU.
Yeah. This released for the PS4 and Switch. This is a M2 shot triggers release of a classic cave arcade bullet hell shooter.
I was gonna say bullet hell on bullet hell.
Oh yeah, very bullet hell. Very, very good port. People are saying like it's a fantastic port of the game. It's only available in Japan though, so if you want this, you have to sign up for a Japanese PlayStation account and download it, or you have to order it from. I sent Jay a link to the Play Asia link for it. You can also get it from Amazon Japan, but so far no word from anybody like limited run or anything. What I've heard is that the last time M2 did a limited run release, it didn't sell super well, so might not be doing that anymore. So currently the only way to get these M2 shot trigger ports will be from Japan, which is a bummer because it'd really be nice to get these localized.
Right.
Because it's mostly just menus
really cool.
that you need localized, because it's mostly the menus that I think are in kanji. So you got to hold up your phone to like, how do I change buttons?
Right.
What do the settings do? But these games are awesome. I've played them on MAME and on an Xbox. I think maybe a PlayStation 2 emulator. Really good game. It's the fourth game in the Dodonpachi series. It's beloved. And M2 always does an awesome job with these, like, top of the line ports. It's really cool. It's got all these like kind of gadgets. Since it was originally a 4x3 game that was, turned Tate mode, right? So the monitor in the arcade cabinet was turned on its side, so it's like taller than it is wide. So when you translate that and you can put it on like a 16:9 TV, you got like these huge empty areas on both sides of the TV. So what they do is they just fill that up with like all the information you could possibly need, according to the game. Or you can just flip it over to Tate mode and play it, turn your monitor sideways. So you got a lot of options there.
The cover art looks awesome, actually.
Yeah, with the cyborg kind of like plugged into the ship, like the blood coming out of the cockpit.
Is that blood?
Well, there's one where like the ship is upright. There's a green one and a blue. There's a green art and blue art, and both of them are good, but the blue art is my favorite.
Yeah, the one here is the green art.
Yeah, it's really nice art. I mean, all of these games, amazing.
Nice.
But yeah, picked that up for I ordered it from Play Asia, so it'll be here in, I don't know, next November. So
50-ish bucks plus shipping. Yeah. Good luck. At least you'll get it. Atari 50, which we've talked about quite a few times in the past. They just, they had an update and they decided to just like give you 12 free games.
Thank you, Atari.
Like, thanks. So the list is Adventure 2, which is a homebrew.
Okay.
Bowling, Double Dunk, Maze Craze, Miniature Golf, Moto Rodeo, Aquaventure, which is a prototype from the 2600. Save Mary is also a prototype. Super Football, Return to Haunted House, which is a homebrew. Circus Atari, and Wavebirds from the Atari Lynx, which actually looks better than all the other ones because the graphics are better on the Lynx than the
Yeah, well,
original.
the Lynx is like hella way more powerful, right? Let's see if I can. Yeah, these games look pretty good. My favorite stuff on that collection, though, is when they actually made like new games based on the old ones, like remakes on some of them, and they're real fun. Also, the interviews on that is fantastic. Like they have so much like content. It's like buying a documentary that you get to play. If anybody
Nice.
hasn't bought this yet, it's well worth buying.
Yeah, it's only like $30 or something, right?
Yeah, it's probably cheaper now.
Yeah, right.
And I think they added these games to the VCS as well, which is that like Atari computer that came out like 5 or 6 years ago.
They don't even like, yeah, they're not adding anything to that, right?
I think they added these games to it.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, $30 brand new on Amazon.
Awesome.
Sweet.
Yeah, definitely worth it. Like even if you only have like a passing interest in Atari, there's so much history there. It's so fun to like listen to the guys talk about like making the games and doing drug deals in the Atari offices using the office mail system.
Sheesh. It does say that they're planning to release more in the future and also like more interviews and behind the scenes stuff.
Really?
Yep.
Wow, I'm
That's
surprised
what
they
it
don't
said in the
come out
press
with like
release.
an Atari 2, like I would. Awesome. Great.
Oh, like an Atari 52.
52.
An Atari 50 as well. Yes.
Like when this came out, I think was it Digital Extreme? Who made this? I can't remember the
Digital Eclipse.
Digital Eclipse. I'm like, I just want them to do this with like everything now. Like I want
Right.
Digital Eclipse to go to Nintendo. I want them to go to Sega. I want them to go to NEC. I want them to go to SNK and just do like one of these for everybody.
Yeah. That'd be pretty dope.
What's next?
Sorry, my son's coming to get his Apple Watch. So NHL 94, a game that is almost 30 years old at this point.
Yeah.
Somebody created a ROM hack that lets you play with the 2024 rosters.
Love it. Don't care. Don't know who any of the hockey players are.
Well, the reason this is kind of important is because people say that NHL 94 is like the best hockey game ever created, or at least like
Yeah.
in the retro era. So it's like
Yeah, it was fun.
People's favorite game. So they updated the like pictures and the rosters and a lot of that stuff. So I thought it's pretty funny if you want to play the original game, but like with today's rosters.
It's dirt cheap too. All these sports games are always dirt cheap.
Oh yeah.
So you can buy 94. I think 95 is well regarded as well, but they are fun because you can get in like fights on the ice and like you knock somebody down and their head hits the ice and the blood starts to seep out onto the ice. Like
that's teenage Briar right there.
Oh, totally. I loved it. I loved it. I didn't even like hockey that much, but I liked NHL games because they were just fun. They're so fast. It was like playing football but fast. This is when you didn't have to be like a jock to enjoy like sports video games, right? Like sports video games were just more video games that were fun, but now it's like everything's so segregated, right? Like, no, I only play Dark Souls games. I would never touch a Madden game, and
Well, yeah, there's so much to sports games now. Like they're so trying to be hyper realistic. They're trying to give
that's true too.
the sports experience to people that don't play sports at that level. Like so I don't know.
I don't know. It used to be there were just video games and like, do you remember EA Big when they were doing like their like NFL Street and like that those were fun, like arcadey
NHL hits and stuff like that.
Yeah, totally. Those were super fun.
Blitz is one of my all-time favorite. Like
Blitz was really good, especially like the early versions. As that game got more story driven, I liked it less. But when it was like,
have you played Blitz the League?
Yeah, that was the one I liked the least because it was like, oh, there's
Really?
so much talking. I just want to hit people.
So much fun. That was so much fun. The reason I like Blitz the League is because I would play with my buddy, and I don't know if you've seen those scenes, but like you get a good hit on somebody and it like zooms in on their body part, like exploding.
Oh,
like
I might have to re-look into this.
Like their scrotum exploding and like
I do love a good exploding scrotum.
Or like the You get their collarbone snapping and it like shows blood going. It's pretty awesome. Intense. Blitz the League and Blitz the League 2. There's a second one. And it was
This is
for
after they lost, like nobody could use the NFL license because
right. No, you couldn't use any names. So this was like 360 PS3.
okay.
Blitz the League 2 is probably the swan song of Blitz for sure.
So this was Microsoft's Xbox 360 era. Why did I think this was much earlier?
They had Blitz the League on the original Xbox, I believe. But they also had it on the 360.
Okay. Dude, they're really oh no, they're not. Okay.
Yeah, Blitz the League was on PS2, Xbox 360, and then the League 2 was on 360 and PS3. I mean, there's still like 50, 60 bucks. 50, 60 bucks for Blitz League 2.
I'm seeing for like 25, 24.
Blitz League 2.
Oh, 2. Well, I got to play the first one first.
Okay.
Oh, here's one for
$6.99. The story is very basic. It's like, you're going into nightclubs and stuff, you're partying, and then the next day you're playing a game. It's not like, it's not very intense stuff.
Well, you had me at exploding scrotums.
You have to get like a really good hit. You have to have turbo on and you got to like hit them right at the right timing.
Yeah.
And then you have to spam a button. It's like a little mini game and it goes whoop, and it goes. I think it's
like a Sniper Elite.
I don't know. I haven't played that one. Sure.
Analog Duo, Jay.
Analog Duo. I got the shipping notification a couple of days ago.
Oh, it's coming? You haven't gotten it yet, though?
Yep. Nope.
What color did you get? There's black and there's white, but the white is kind of like a creamy white,
Japanese.
Right?
Yeah. So I had it's like white.
No, it's not. It's like off-white.
Is it? Are you sure?
Positive. I've watched several videos about it now.
Okay. Well, I got the black one. So I had originally ordered both. I pre-ordered both, but it started I got that email like, December 8th will be the last day that you can change anything or cancel or whatever. And I talked to my wife. I was like, that's $250 that's been sitting there. I could just cancel it and then we'd have like $250.
Yeah.
Or I could like do something with it. I don't know. Sit on it. I don't know what I would do with it.
Yeah.
And she's like, just cancel it and keep the other one. I was like, all right.
The white one.
More Christmas gifts. Yeah, I was trying to figure out which one I wanted, but I have the white pocket, so I was like, and the black one is the USA version, and I typically like USA versions over international versions, so I just stuck to that. So yeah. Analog Duo shipping. Also, speaking of white analog pockets, they are making a special Christmas holiday edition white pocket dock that you can order in store right now, as well as the black and white pockets are currently available to order in the store right now.
That'd make a nice Christmas gift.
They're shipping in February, but yeah, if you haven't gotten one yet, they are available for $219 and shipping in February.
Yeah.
And then bad news for people like me, it's not that bad, I guess. They delayed the adapter set to be released late February.
Jay, it's been so long. I couldn't remember if I had ordered this or not. So I had to go back and like look through my account and like, oh, I did order this in like 2022.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Jesus Christ.
There's $100 just sitting there. Yeah.
Yeah. one of the many things that I ordered like way back in the day.
2 months doesn't seem that bad in comparison.
Yeah, it didn't seem that bad last time they delayed it 2 months either. No, I get it. I've been watching a lot of reviews on the Analog Duo, and people are not like super hyped on this thing. They say the video quality is fantastic. The game compatibility is pretty good. It's not like 100% though. And like, once again, like, I put this Hue card in and it doesn't work, but it works in a regular PC Engine or TurboGrafx. But for some reason, it doesn't work in this. And then like sometimes discs get stuck in it, so you have to like take the SD card out, create a file called like CD eject on the
on the
SD card, then put it in to get the disc to eject. So like they released a new firmware. They released a new firmware today, right? So hopefully that firmware is gonna like, but it does seem like this thing is coming out hot.
Can that do anything to the disc problems, like firmware update?
I mean, I don't know. I have no idea. I mean, it's obviously a software problem if you're writing a
Yeah, I
file
guess if you have to load, yeah, that
yeah.
makes sense. That's true. So
Um,
yeah, hopefully all that stuff. I mean, there was issues like that with the Pocket too when it first came out. So
for sure. There really were, right? And the Pocket has gotten a lot better. And in fact, a new update just released for the Pocket like
Mhm.
the other day, like a week ago. And they finally are going to release 2.0, which is going to add all the filters to the
To the dock stuff.
OpenFPGA, which is cool. But yeah, this thing seems like it's coming out hot. But overall, like it's good, not great. But I'm looking
Yeah,
forward to getting one.
to be fair, the ones that people were getting and reviewing were like, not retail ones. They were ones that were like
Also true. Yes.
so
Yes.
it's good that there's an update. So it'd be interesting to see over the next like week or two
Yeah.
if there's much of a, update. The only thing that I saw was from Time Extension, which is where I get a lot of the news stories,
Hmm.
and they said that it was great. So I don't know. I didn't like watch any pre-release stuff yet.
Yeah. I watched My Life in Gaming did probably a 40-minute review. Metal Jesus Rocks did actually a pretty good review, I thought. And GameSack did a review. It looked like there must have been some kind of review embargo because all the reviews came out the same day. So it's
Mhm.
literally just sitting there watching a lot of TurboGrafx content, which is not bad. I'm always happy to watch some TurboGrafx.
I like the name Game Sack.
It's a good
Very
name, right? Good name.
good name.
I haven't ordered one of these yet. I am gonna get one, I think, but I haven't ordered one yet. Um,
I keep wondering, like, are they gonna figure out how to hack it and like let other CD games run on it and stuff like that eventually?
yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It would have been nice if like Open FPGA worked on this in the same way the Pocket does, and you could just like have just about everything on this thing.
Well, did they when Pocket first came out, didn't they say that Open FPGA wasn't gonna be on it and then like immediately it was?
No, no, I don't think so. They said that about the Duo. They said that it wouldn't have like it wouldn't have the same level of Open FPGA that the Pocket does.
Okay. Have to see.
But I mean, this would be a pretty amazing system if you could just like throw a PlayStation core on there or a Saturn core on there, and then throw your discs in. You know,
Right. They
but
did say too that you can put burn discs in there, which I thought was
yeah,
interesting
that is interesting, right?
because it doesn't like apparently the original Turbo Duo and stuff didn't have any like copyright protection or anything on it, so they wanted to make
Nobody had CD burners in the early '90s.
it
Wasn't a concern at the time.
not until the Dreamcast came out.
Yeah,
Uh, so Pocky and Rocky.
yeah. Jay, I gotta say, man, I'm glad you picked this game because I had a ton of fun. I played this
I figured you would.
pretty
It's a
good.
shmup, basically.
Yeah, basically, right? I played it pretty consistently over the last couple of weeks, and I had fun with it like constantly. It feels like a real lighthearted, like I'm just running around shooting shit, and I got like fun characters with colorful colors and beautiful kind of like Japanese. Uh, I would say, what would you say, like traditional Japanese themed art, but in like kind of like a real like cartoonish
Right.
style.
Yeah.
Very cool looking game, very beautiful looking game. The game plays awesome. So it's like a top down like I don't know what you'd call this type of game. You run around and
It's
shoot
kind of like
things.
it. Yeah. It's kind of like if you've played Zombies Ate My Neighbors. It's that style
Yeah.
of like
Akari
gameplay.
Warriors. Yeah.
Yeah. Like an isometric running around shoot 'em up, basically.
Yeah, it's real simple, but you get like upgrades and the things that you fight are just like constantly new and surprising. I thought it was pretty difficult, but it's difficult in a
Yeah, it
way
is.
that is you feel yourself getting better every time you hit the continue button or every time you pick it back up, right? It's like you can make it a little further, a little further, a little further. So it's like it's doable difficulty, it's learnable difficulty. It's not just like bang your head against the wall kind of thing. It's fun.
You can also play co-op, which I've heard makes the experience a bit better.
Yeah, I don't think it like scales difficulty for co-op, which probably would make it tremendously easier.
Yeah. There are 3 difficulties. I only played on normal. I didn't get super far. I got to like the 3rd or 4th level, but um it was fun. I enjoyed it, and I didn't get a chance to play. I have all of them right here sitting on my shelf. 1, 2, uh, Pocky and Rocky with Becky, and Reshrined, which they're all slightly different, right? None of them are exactly the same, but
Yeah. Yeah, this one's a more straightforward shooter. I think the second one has like some RPG elements to it. And
mm,
like it's not a two-player game. Instead, the second player is kind of like
like
your
AI.
assistant.
Yeah. It would be nice as a single player to do that. The second one, like, is they're both actually all 3 of them except for Reshrined are very expensive games, but the second one, I don't know why I didn't look into it, is just, like, stupid expensive.
Hmm. Reshrined is
That's
very good too. That's the new one
yeah.
that came out on the Switch. It's very good.
Which has original developers on it, I learned. It actually has
Yeah.
people that created the first one, so
Yeah, all those games. Natsumi has done a bunch of those, like Switch remakes of original games that they made when they were younger, like Ninja Saviors and Wild Guns Reloaded, and a
mhm,
bunch of them.
mhm.
Pocky and
They
Rocky.
actually I believe, the team that on Natsumi that worked on this game also worked on the original Wild Guns, I think, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Something
Yeah.
like that. Um, I thought it was interesting. The first game in the series, is Kiki Kai was
Excuse me.
developed and published published and developed by Taito, actually, originally in, Japanese arcades in 1986, which has not been I think it's been re-released in the US as Kiki Kai on, like, different download services. I don't know if it was Virtual Console or what, but, they haven't, like, remade that for US audiences, so you have to go back and play the original. That's, like, the one before Pocky and Rocky, and then Taito licensed the Pocky and Rocky brand or Kiki Kai brand in the early '90s to Natsumi, who created the Pocky and Rocky games, um, and then Altron developed and published the Pocky and Rocky with Becky for Game Boy Advance in 2001.
And you have that one as well?
I do.
And that one's
I
have you
got it.
played it? Is it good?
I have not.
Okay.
I have not played that one. It is also stupidly rare and expensive for I don't know. Anyways,
Yeah, they're
I have not
definitely
played
not the
that one.
kind of game I would like be drawn to at the store. I would have seen the cartoony graphics like on the box art and be like, not for
Mhm.
me. But now having played it, I'm a huge fan of this game. I'll definitely play the rest of them.
They're very well received by especially people that like shmups and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, yeah, very cool game. I loved it.
Trying to I don't think I was like looking for interviews. I couldn't find like anything. I found like something from somebody who did some of the music, but it wasn't even about the game and stuff. So I don't know. There
Yeah,
wasn't a whole lot out there for it.
you say shmup, but it's not exactly like a shmup. It's not like auto scrolling like a shmup, and you're just like facing in one direction. Like you could run in any direction and shoot in any direction, almost like at times I wanted it to control like a Total Carnage or like a Smash TV, like almost like a twin
Mhm.
stick shooter. Because that's
Right.
what it like modern day. That's what it kind of feels like it would play as.
Like you're shooting in the direction you're running kind of thing.
Yeah. So in this game, you got to like point your character. You got to run in that direction to shoot, and then if you want to move, you got to stop shooting in that direction because you're now facing whichever way
Right.
you're running. Uh, man, I don't know. I just found the graphics to be charming. Did you have a character preference, Pocky or Rocky?
I tried both. I didn't seem to make much of a difference for me as
Didn't
far
make
as
a difference.
performance. So
Yeah.
I liked the Rocky, you're shooting leaves instead of cards. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. They're both
I
cool.
tended to like Rocky, who is like not a raccoon, but like a what is he called?
It's the from Super Mario Brothers 3.
Yeah, the same suit, the Tanuki.
Tanuki. There you go.
Um, I liked the look of him, and I liked his slide better, but I seem to do better when I played as Pocky, who's like the
Mm.
human character. So I tended to like eventually kind of stick toward her more
It does
often.
it does pull a lot from, as you mentioned before, Japanese mythology and like different legendary creatures and stuff from Japanese mythology. I don't know enough to know, but there are some weird looking creatures that,
Yeah,
make a lot of like the bamboo. You're just fighting like bamboo guys, and
yeah.
these things look like
A
hamburgers and all
cyclops and
this.
a squid and
Yeah,
all sorts of stuff.
pretty cool. It's like unique and different. It's like, if you like anime, if you like shmups, that kind of stuff, you'll love this game.
Yeah.
Um, I also noted that it came out on June 12th, which is actually my wife and my anniversary.
Oh,
I thought was kind of fun. Came out on our anniversary in '93, so I was 8 years old.
yeah, I
Barrett's
was
like, I
very
don't
happy
know.
to play this game. I'm gonna this will be one of those ones that I just kind of keep plugging away at. Like it's just fun to jump in, and I would like to beat the game, but I have not. I did not do that before our show today, but I will continue to play this like just for fun.
If I remember correctly, are the first 3 games available on the Reshrined
I
in
don't
some
remember.
capacity? I have to look that up.
There's a lot of unlockables on Reshrined. I'm gonna Google it real quick.
Yeah, I am too.
Oh well, I'll let you do it, and I'll keep talking.
Okay.
Um, yeah, if you haven't checked this out, sadly, like to buy a cartridge is extremely expensive. I think, like you said, the second one even more so. But
Yeah.
it is it's pretty easy to play on. I played on mostly on the Mister and on the Pocket. A little hard to play on the Pocket, I would say, with the small screen. You know,
Oh, you
little.
were playing on the Pocket?
I tried to play on the Pocket, but I mostly stuck to the Mister on the big screen because I just
Yeah,
couldn't
it'd
see
be
very
tough.
well on the. My eyes, I got old man eyes.
Oh, I mean, like, there's a lot of, like, little things that pop out all the time.
Yeah, on the Pocket, I'd be
It'd
like,
be
oh,
tough.
I got hit by something I didn't even see. I have that trouble
Right.
with shooters as well, Battle Garega in particular.
I don't see
No unlocks.
I do not see.
I know that you got to beat the game single player to play 2-player in Reshrined, which I think
Mm.
that's some bullshit, Johnny. Why'd you do that? That just seems mean spirited. Next week, Jay, I forgot to select a game for next week, so we were actually talking about it before. We wanted to do something not Halloween, like
Holiday.
holiday themed. But I think I've decided I really want to do Die Hard for the NES. Now I know
Okay.
this game is not going to be a good game, but Die Hard and Christmas are forever linked, right? Whether it's deserved or not, I think a debate could be had any day of any week on whether or not Die Hard is a Christmas movie, and I'm here for it. And I'll argue either side depending on my mood, because I don't feel either way about it. But
You
I think
watch
it'd be
it? Is
fun.
that something you watch regularly at the holiday season?
No, no, I'll watch it anytime. Like if it's on, I'll watch it. But it's like kind of like Big Trouble in Little China we were talking about last episode. I'm not gonna say no to watching Die Hard. Yeah, I'll watch it, but I don't like watch it because it's Christmas time. If that makes sense.
Sure.
It's not
I
like
do.
my Easter Rambo 2 rewatch. Like every Easter, gotta watch Rambo 2.
I'm like looking at the gameplay of this.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how I feel.
Well,
It'll be
that's not a
fun.
good start.
Uh,
That's not a good
It's
start.
like I don't know if I've ever seen a game that is as top down as this is.
Yeah.
Like, you can't even see the face of the character you're playing. It's literally just the top of his head.
There's the Die Hard trilogy on Saturn and PlayStation we could play.
PS1. No, I mean, I think we should play this and
All right.
just like, it's gonna be fun. Before the show, he's like, "At least we've done Home Alone, thank God." I'm like, "There's a Home Alone 2."
No. I don't know. Maybe we'll find out. Is Home Alone or Die Hard worse? I'm guessing that Home Alone is worse because Home Alone was bad.
We'll see.
Home Alone, there was like no fun to be had in Home Alone. Being a kid, like, can you imagine being a kid and you get Home Alone and you got to play that for like the next year? That's like your game. Oh, I'd be so upset about it. He went through that charge fast. What's he doing? Like jumping jacks?
He wants to charge it.
All right. Do you have any pickups?
I do actually, because I'm
All right.
back on my my BS as my son is here,
Yeah.
and there he goes.
He's looking at you like, oh, Dad's got his fucking old ass video games.
I'm back on my BS, and I told Briar before the show, I bought a lot of SNES. I bought a lot of 100 SNES games
100.
because the guy, like, he's like, "Yeah, we tested them and they don't work." And I like looked at the picture and I'm like, "These look fine." I'm like, "Did you try to clean them or anything?" He's like, "No, we just stuck them in the system and they either didn't work or we had problems with them or something like that." And so I was like,
Yeah.
"They probably just need to be cleaned." Like the labels were clean and all this stuff. And I got them and I put a few in them, like they work fine.
Wow.
So
Really? Like
yeah.
without cleaning them?
Um, Some of them, yeah.
Wow.
It just lit like, I even looked at the contacts, I'm like, "These aren't even that bad." Maybe the system that he was trying them on, like, wasn't
You just
that
got
needed to
got a
be cleaned or
busted
something
ass
like that.
Retron or something.
So I scored there. So I'm keeping 20 of those games, at least preliminary in my pass, because there's some other ones that I don't have. So here's a question: if you got a lot like that, and let's say there were 60 games you didn't have,
Yeah.
but only 20 of those actually seemed really interesting, would you keep all 60 to try to fill out your collection because they're in good
No.
shape?
No.
No?
No. I,
Okay,
I don't have any interest in collecting games that I'm never gonna play.
fair. So I don't, let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13 games to go over. Only like 8 from the 20 that I'm keeping. I'm just gonna quickly go over them, I figured. So just I'm gonna show you the cards pretty rapid
Yeah.
fire. Inspector
Inspector
Gadget.
Gadget.
Like, look at this condition though. Like most of them were this condition.
Yeah, it looks brand new.
Looks great.
That doesn't look
I
like
was
it's
like,
ever been played.
no, I'm like, this is fine. Nickelodeon Guts.
Interesting. Guts.
That's my childhood right there.
Yeah.
Lost Vikings 2, which is another one which you don't see very often in good
Good
shape.
games.
I
Those are
have the
fun.
box for this. I just
Oh,
need a
you can just
manual now.
match them up
So
now.
this is an expensive game.
Is it?
Lost
It's a good
Vikings
game
2,
too.
yeah.
Well, I
Uh,
played the first one. I don't know about the second one.
yeah, I imagine they're similar.
Yeah.
Looney Tunes B-Ball, which is kind of an
Interesting.
uncommon game.
Is that that would be before the era of uh that what was the movie with Michael Jordan?
Oh, Space Jam.
Yeah, that would be before Space Jam came out, right?
No, I think it's about the same time. I think Space Jam came out in like 90. I want to say 92, but I don't think it's that
Oh,
early.
really? So why wouldn't they just put Space Jam on the title of that?
96.
96. So that would have been like a PlayStation N64 era game. Did they ever make a Space Jam video
This
game?
this came out in 95.
Oh, wow.
The game came out in 95. They were getting prepped. They were getting prepped for the visitation of the Monstars. Simpsons Bart's Nightmare, classic.
Yeah.
This I thought that this is kind of an uncommon get for the SNES. Fievel Goes West.
Oh, wow.
Really?
Is that Sunsoft? Does that say
My wife
Sunsoft on it?
My wife is like,
Very
"Really?"
detailed.
So apparently I just got another pickup. My wife went to the pawn shop today. Got Jump Force for the Switch.
What is that? It's got a bunch of different anime characters on it.
Yeah, it's a I think it's a fighting game.
Oh, neat. I just ordered Gigabash from Limited Run Games, which is a fighting game with a bunch of like monsters, like kaiju.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting that. I should get it within the next 8 to 10 months.
Now the dog's in here. Oh yeah, right. The Tick. These are all like, stuff that I watched as a kid or
Yeah,
whatever. I just didn't
that
have.
TV show was weird.
This one has seen better days, but
Yeah,
you know.
it's old.
And Power Pigs with 2 G's. Which is
Okay.
one of those that, yeah, I have no idea anything about this game, but it's like an uncommon, like $50 or $60 game, kind of like Fievel. So I want to check that out. This is another one that's in fantastic shape.
Yeah, looks
So
good. Power
and then I had some inbox games. These are different people. I got Evil Knievel for the Game Boy Color, which apparently is a very kind of hard to find rare game.
Yeah. It comes with a free pager?
Does it come with a free pager? It does. It says free pager offer. on the top. I'm gonna mail it in, and I'm gonna try to get a free pager. All right. So I had the game manual and poster for
Oh
Metal
shit, Metal
Storm,
Storm. Hell
but
yeah.
now I have the box. So now I have
Yeah.
like a fully complete, other than maybe the registration card. I found it was a game and box copy, and I sent him an offer, and so basically I got the box for like $60, which I
Have
was
we
pretty
done that
stoked about.
game on the show yet?
No,
We need to. It's got
we
that's a fantastic game.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
we
I have
haven't.
that complete now. Nobunaga's Ambition for the SNES, which is kind of an uncommon game as well, fully complete, all the maps and registration and posters and all the things in it. So that's pretty
That
cool.
was a dad game for sure.
Oh yeah, 100%. There's so many of them
Yeah,
between the SNES and the NES. The strategy games, Sky
yeah.
Blazer, which I've never actually played, but I've owned
I
for a long
just was
time.
watching a stream of somebody playing that, and it looked awesome. So that's the same people who made Hook, the Super Nintendo version Hook, which is like a Peter Pan game. They lost the license to make Hook 2, so they made that, which is very similar.
Really?
Yeah, and it's supposed to be pretty good.
Yeah, it looks pretty cool. It's Sony ImageSoft.
Yeah.
But I had the cart of this, which is not a cheap game.
Uh-huh.
And the box and manual and stuff of this is not in great condition, and the cart that they sent is not in great condition. But it was another one of those, like, I sent an offer for like $100 for this complete in box, and I got it, and the cart goes for 90 by itself. So
Awesome.
basically I got the box and the manual for like $20.
Great. That's
So I was like,
awesome.
sweet. Yeah. And then another one kind of like that Swamp Thing, complete in box now. I had the cart, but I sent an offer. The cart goes for between 150 and $200. I sent an offer, or actually I didn't send an offer. They had it listed for $250.
Okay.
And I bought it thinking he was going to cancel it. I was like, that has to be a price mistake. And he sent it. It has like a couple of tiny little like holes down on the corner. Maybe that's why. Just like that's it. Everything
Mm.
else is in pretty good shape, except for those tiny little holes. Cart looks great. Manual looks great. So I got the box and the manual for like 60 or 70
I like
bucks.
that box. It's a cool box.
Yeah, it normally goes for 450 or 500. So
Yeah.
pretty stoked to get that. It's a pretty heavy hitter for me. And that's it.
That's pretty good pickups this week, I'd
Yeah.
say.
I'm back on my bullshit. So, and it's just like holiday time comes around and my brain goes, "You need dopamine. Go buy games."
Go buy games. Well, there's some games that you picked up that I'd like to put on this list eventually of games to
Yeah.
Metal Storm and
Lost
Sky Blazer for
Vikings,
sure.
Sky Blazer. I don't think Swamp Thing's a good game.
No, it's got a cool box.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. You said you didn't have any pickups?
No pickups for me this week. I am
Bummer.
I am in house buying mode. Like I have to buy a house.
Oh, really?
So I don't have to. I mean, but I'd like to.
We have a meeting in a couple of days, actually. I think somebody's going to come out and look at our house and see if we have a space like in the front to expand.
Oh, interesting. So
We're
instead of
not going to be
buying a
able to.
house,
Yeah, because we need at least an extra bedroom for the kids to have their own room, kind of thing. And there's
yeah,
the market, like interest rates are way too high to like consider selling and buying. So we might be
mhm.
able to use some equity to expand or something. So we're going to figure that out.
I'm
So
trying to
yeah,
buy
I'm
a.
in the same one.
I have a rental property, and I'm trying to buy the house next door to that. It's a
Mm,
duplex. But I've talked about this on DCP. It is like the real estate agent who's in charge of this. It's like she's actively doesn't want to sell this house. Like,
No, I don't really want to go over an offer right now. No.
and this is like, in all honesty, it's the third time I've tried to buy this house. It's the third time. So
Sheesh.
I don't know.
Well, good luck to you.
We'll see. We'll see if it happens. But when you're buying a house, every dollar.
True. All right.
I think that's gonna do it. Thank you all for watching. Have a wonderful Christmas because we won't see you until after the holidays. Our next show will be what, the 26th?
The day after Christmas. It's
Oh
the day
man,
after Christmas.
I can't wait to see what you got for Christmas.
Probably nothing. No, I don't. I tell people not to buy me games
No?
because no,
Oh, you
it's
don't
like
get like socks or underwear or nothing?
no, I do.
Oh, okay.
That's the kind of stuff I get. I don't get
That's what I
games.
want though, right? It's like don't buy me stuff that buy me the stuff that I don't feel like going to the store and buying.
Yeah, I usually get like pajama pants and stuff like that.
Yes. Give me that stuff. That's what I want too.
Great, great.
Perfect. I asked for smart wool socks this year.
What do you do? Like scuff your feet and your TV turns on? What do you mean
No,
smart wool socks?
they're merino wool, so they're like wicking. They're soft. They're not itchy like wool. They're soft, but they
Okay.
like wick away the moisture from your foot, and they're very comfortable. They're very nice. Very nice.
Or you could just
Socks.
be like me and not sweat through your feet a bunch.
No, I can't be like you. Sadly. All right, guys. Thank you for watching. We'll see you on the 26th. Have a wonderful holiday. Enjoy your family. Make sure everybody's super happy. And we'll see you soon. Bye.
Stay safe, everybody.